I just came out of the theater after seeing Madam Web, and I have some thoughts. Hi, I'm Laura from Your Little Sisters Productions, and I love to talk about entertainment, good and bad, and in this case, unfortunately, very bad. Quick shout out to Lindsay K for the avatar artwork. Her Instagram handle will be in the comments below. Where to begin with Madam Web? Let's start with the overall plot. By the way, this will be a very spoiler-filled review, so if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your warning now. The year is 2003, and Cassie is a paramedic in New York, and she starts to see visions of the future. In these, she sees three girls being killed by a man with spider powers, and she does everything she can to protect them and learn more about her own powers along the way. That's the most very basic overarching plot of the movie. Let's start with the villain, Ezekiel. He is very two-dimensional and just about everything about him has no context. He walks around barefoot most of the movie. Now, one would think it's because he has spider powers and he wants to stick to the walls and such, but when he puts on his spider suit, it covers his feet. Also, where does he store his spider suit? Does he wear it all the time underneath his regular clothes? But if so, where's the part that covers his feet? Does he roll it up? Also, throughout the movie, he keeps talking about the girls in the future taking everything away that he has built. And he's obviously very wealthy, but what exactly did he build? What kind of business does he run? Why did he so desperately want the spider powers for himself? What has he done with them over the years? What kind of business is he in? Also, why are the majority of his lines dubbed over and dubbed badly? Seriously, there are so many scenes of him where they hide his face in an attempt to hide that his lips are not matching the words that we are hearing. But there are still a good amount of shots where we can see that, and it's weird. You can very much tell that his lines are dubbed over most of the time, and the dialogue was not all that great. I don't know what the lines were before that, so I don't know if the dubbed lines are an improvement or not over the original, but dear heavens, if they are an improvement, what were the original lines? The three girls who Cassie is trying to protect in the movie all have one character trait each that distinguishes them from each other, and that's about all we really get from them. Yes, we do hear their backstories on why their parents aren't really involved in their lives and such, but literally, that's it. Some sad backstories and one main character trait. I almost feel as though they could have been taken out of the movie and we could have had Ezekiel chasing Cassie by herself, and nothing much about the movie would have changed. They don't do a whole lot, and we don't really get to see them bonding and becoming close friends, which I think the movie was trying to go for, having them all have this super close connection by the end of the movie, but they never really take the time to show that happening on screen or going deeper with their characters, so we don't really feel it at all. Cassie, who's the main character, I honestly don't have that much to say about her, which is sad given that, again, she's the main character. The movie is built around her. She's meant to have this arc where she starts off as this disconnected, isolated, awkward jerk and progresses to where she cares and is protective, but they mess up really showing that progression. They actually mess up a lot with her character, which is one of the reasons I don't have that much to say about her. She gets her powers after drowning and being revived, and then at one point she goes to Peru. Oh, yeah, in the middle of the movie, while the girls are being hunted down by Ezekiel, she just leaves them for like a whole week to go to Peru and learn about her history and her powers. And we see one scene of her where she goes to where she was born and works through some trauma. Then she gets a pep talk from a person with spider powers who says, "When you accept responsibility, great power will come." Do you do you get it? He said the thing, but like opposite. Remember that thing Uncle Ben says in Spider-Man movies? Yeah. Anyway, she gets a pep talk, and then all of a sudden, she shows back up in New York and can suddenly control all her powers and use them without any training or practice at all. Oh my goodness, I am so tired of that in superhero movies. Look, I like pep talks as much as the next person, but a pep talk is not a substitute for training and practice and growth. What happened to a good old-fashioned training montage? Why can't our heroes practice until they're good at it anymore? Moving on, at the end of the movie, Cassie becomes blind and paralyzed, so she now resembles the Madam Web of the comics. and I'm not sure how exactly that happens. She falls in the water as fireworks are going off and blasting into the water all around her, and one of them does appear to hit her. But how that one firework managed to make her blind, I truly have no idea. Or why she's now paralyzed, unless the force of hitting the water somehow paralyzed her. Also, the editing in this movie is really weird most of the time. The dialogue feels forced and speaks down to the audience sometimes, and some of the acting performances just seem kind of phoned in. I have a few other very nitpicky details I noticed that just kind of bugged me. For example, the woman that Ezekiel gets the NSA badge and code from at the beginning of the movie, she was just casually carrying around her badge and her sparkly clutch purse at the opera. Then she went to a perfect stranger's house with it still in her bag, and then fell asleep with her bag right there. I mean, I just do people with high security clearances just walk around with their badges and key fob things everywhere they go and fall asleep at strangers' houses, leaving their badges open for the taking? I mean, technically he had to get her password out of her to be able to use it, but still. The fact that some of the editing made weird jumps bothered me throughout the movie as well. And as for the rest of the movie, honestly, I was just kind of bored and disconnected. I did like the part where we found out that her mom was in the Amazon looking for a cure for Cassie because she had a degenerative disease, instead of her just going to the Amazon and putting both their lives in danger for no reason. But the placement in the story and everything else surrounding it in the movie did not help it to have the emotional impact it really should have had. And that's the kicker. This could have been a fun movie. The premise is not a bad one. It was just really poorly executed and, at times, focused on the wrong things. It was a big missed opportunity. Anyway, that's all I really have for Madam Web. It was boring at times, confusing at others, and honestly, not all that much to say except it's just not good. Is it the worst movie I've ever watched? No, not by a long shot. But it's nowhere near as good as it could have been with the cast, characters, and the premise they had. But have you seen Madam Web? And if you have, what did you think of it? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And remember to check out Lindsay K. Her Instagram handle is in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.